It's now been more than a week since the full report by the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls was released. So the Commission spent 3 years and $92 million to finish the report. 1,200 pages in length, it concludes that Canada is currently engaging in nothing less than a deliberate, often covert campaign of genocide. I mean, everyone knows that by now if they're paying any attention at all, but here's a pop quiz. Can you tell me anything else the report says? Anything? The use of the word genocide in this context is obviously going to get a lot of attention. I mean, the use of the term in this report is widely offside with what most Canadians understand genocide to mean. I mean, when the majority of people hear the word genocide, they associate it with, Armenia, Rwanda, the Holocaust, not Canada in 2019. And this is something the commissioners must have known since they found the need to include a 50-page supplementary report to defend their definition. The report claimed its use of the term genocide does not exclusively mean the immediate destruction of a nation, and that their inescapable conclusion is in keeping with the 1948 United Nations Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime Genocide. But I'm sorry, you're going to need more than a supplement to convince a nation that thinks of itself as 37 million maple-tapping, hockey-playing peacekeepers that they are in fact war criminals. Now look, I've read the report. I don't agree with the use of the word genocide. The UN defines genocide as acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. The report does note many horrific things that have occurred, including some very recently to Indigenous peoples. But that's not what makes a genocide. I mean, is there evidence that the Canadian government is carrying out an ongoing policy with the intention of eliminating Indigenous Canadians in whole or in part? Is there an intent to destroy? Not even close, but that's all we're talking about. This is one of the problems with the inquiry, not just the report, but the entire effort. The inquiry was beset by problems and delays and infighting from the very beginning. The process was a debacle. There was serious doubt that it would ever actually be able to produce a final report. And we've forgotten most of this by now, but for a while there, it seemed like a different commissioner or official or lawyer was quitting in protest every week. And it was incredibly frustrating to watch because even before the inquiry started, we knew what a lot of the problems were. Too many Indigenous communities struggle from alcohol and substance abuse, extreme poverty, unaccountable local governments, geographic isolations, and sky-high unemployment and limited or no economic prospects. Intergenerational trauma is real. Families are in crisis. Conditions in many Indigenous homes and communities will shock Canadians. But we knew that before. We know it now. But instead of acting, we spent years and almost $100 million investigating a problem that was already fairly well understood. And now that the process is over, we're arguing about it. I mean, there are legitimate proposals in the report like public education campaigns, a national Indigenous rights ombudsman, police funding on reserves that could really work to really improve the lives of Indigenous Canadians. But we're just fighting about a word, for and against. We're wasting even more time. And I get it, using such a strong, heavy word like genocide generates national publicity that no other word can. But at what cost? Is it generating productive attention, or is it just causing a distraction that helps no one? After all these years, are we going to take the meaningful actions that will help? Or are we going to debate, argue, and study the issues some more?